Hi everybody, I hope you're well. Today I will read from a book titled Saudi Modern, Jeddah in Transition, 1938-1964 by Turki and Abdulrahman Gazzaz, published by Architangle and Bricklab.
For centuries, Jeddah has been a humble port city strategically positioned between Islam's holy cities of Mecca and Medina and major maritime trade routes along the Red Sea. Its compact urban footprint, defined by ancient fortification walls and a labyrinthine coral reef, housed one of the most eclectic communities in the region owing to its unique geopolitics. Although the city experienced multiple periods of great affluence over its history, the limited supply of clean drinking water and arable land capped its population at no more than 12,000 inhabitants at a time. Satellite settlements of foreign workers, settled Bedouins and fishing villages surrounded the walled city, forming a cluster of communities benefiting from pilgrimage routes to the holy cities. Although Jeddah's familiar towering houses of coral stone and wood only became commonplace in the last 2 centuries, the residential clusters, winding alleyways and bustling markets that have long defined the identity of the city remained relatively unchanged over centuries, according to different historical accounts. It wasn't until the economic boom following the discovery of oil that the city expanded rapidly beyond its walls. Over a period spanning 3 decades, Jeddah witnessed an exponential increase in its population and an unprecedented expansion of its urban footprint. As infrastructure spread into new districts and suburbs, the city's original residents adopted new materials, forms, and spatial structures to create a new modern urban reality. Despite the radical shifts that took place during that period, the early history of modern development in Jeddah, ranging roughly from the 1930s to the 1960s, remains largely overlooked as a significant transformative era which determines the city's identity today. Contemporary discourse on the urban development of the city remains either enamored by nostalgic narratives of the old walled city or blinded by the glittering mirage of post-Dubai high-tech future. These polarized attitudes have evolved over decades to become the centerpiece of the debate on future developments as Saudi Arabia embarks on its journey towards radical change since Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came into power in 2017. As the nation braces for a prosperous future, marking its final haul towards a diverse economy away from oil with its ambitious 2030 development plan, it seems as though the built environment has become the main protagonist championing these sweeping changes. Architecture and urban development have lately become instrumental in giving form to this new vision, thus enabling its dissemination among the enthusiastic local population and their skeptical international counterparts. A flood of new megaprojects promises to achieve a nuanced balance between traditional social and cultural values while maintaining a progressive outlook for the future. New tabula rasa developments like NEOM and Red Sea Global, with their cutting-edge forms and advanced technologies, have been circulating in international media as the new face of Saudi Arabia. On the other hand, significant investments in existing urban centers with ambitious districts like the new Murabba in Riyadh and Jeddah Central have been largely promoted as stewards of social and economic change at home by promoting an alternative lifestyle that amends the woes of the existing city. Driven by global capital and emerging neoliberal economic policies, Jeddah, along with other cities across the nation, has entered yet another stage of development, with sweeping urban transformations taking place at a remarkable rate. the plethora of planned megaprojects is almost consistently conceived by Western consultants by way of principles of critical regionalism, as redeeming local values that ultimately reconcile the assumed conflicts between tradition and modernization. The legacy of the old humble port town is often used to justify the appropriateness of these new urban realities by promising an authentic return to Jeddah's perceived golden age, as embodied by the mythicized historic center. The new districts, circulating in local and international media, often promise a dreamlike lifestyle that is set in a pedestrian-friendly, culturally rooted architecture which demands a sharp contrast to the generic mundane environment of the existing city district, a faithfully crafted future that maintains the continuity of authentic traditional values drawn mainly from local pre-oil vernacular architectures built at the expense of older neighborhoods. As a result, many of the districts that comprised Jeddah's early growth beyond the boundaries of the old wall were removed to make way for new developments. Over the past 4 years, most of the buildings, streets, and neighborhood that comprised the material evidence of the evolution of the city right after the discovery of oil have been demolished or readapted. As the built environment grapples with these aggressive transformations, their respective local communities are equally being contested. Although many would argue that they do not hold any significant architectural value, these urban environments were testaments to the economic, political, cultural, and municipal conditions impacting the time and place of their construction. As sweeping urban reforms unfold across Jeddah today, a critical reading of the city's identity as it relates to the built environment, society, and cultural heritage becomes imperative, if not urgent. Understanding its development in the mid-20th century allows us to build up a collective narrative on the city's urban history, makes us better equipped to negotiate the perceived opposition between the traditional and the new. In doing so, we may develop more informed strategies for our built environment that capitalize on the city's rich social and cultural heritage. In this light, we decided to bracket our research between 1938 and 1964 and take a closer look at the city's earliest expansion beyond its ancient boundaries. After the promising economic boom following the discovery of oil in commercial quantities in 1938, extensive urban development projects radically transformed Jeddah at an unprecedented pace. To meet the demands associated with this surge in economic activity, the city's urban fabric expanded haphazardly until the first master plan was officially submitted in 1964. This period witnessed the earliest instances of departure away from the traditional city toward an optimistic future marked by progress and innovation. It is interesting to understand how that particular generation of our forefathers consciously moved away from their traditional stone houses into reinforced concrete villas and apartment blocks, and to draw parallels to the current condition of our cities today. This book is a compilation of different contributions that examine the built environment of the first post-oil era. It is structured around 3 broad themes that trace developments in built form and its associated socio-cultural impacts. The first theme, the myth of Al-Balad, focuses on the macro scale of the city and its relationship to national and regional development in a bid to critically evaluate the impact of the historic center in shaping contemporary sociocultural dynamics. It is followed by the theme From Coral to Concrete, which is an examination of early transitions in the local vernacular at an architectural scale to provide a closer look at materiality and tectonics as they relate to emerging spatial layouts and community structures. The concluding theme, Legacies, chronicles the legacy of this transitional period through contemporary observations on the city and its communities. By providing a succinct narrative of Jeddah's early modern developments amid their ongoing erasure, we sincerely hope that this publication will succeed in establishing a broader set of parameters for discourse on the city's cultural identity. The volume aims to articulate the limitations of stylistic rhetoric on built form, while encouraging a multidisciplinary reading of the past to critically inform future action.
Ask for the book at your local bookstore. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.